So, if you're invested in crypto, you have been seeing the massive liquidations that have been happening in the past 24 hours based off of exactly the jobless report data that came out around the non-farm payrolls, which was not looking good, guys. A lot of revisions, and right now there has been a lot of mixed sentiment based off of exactly what's going to be happening. Also, we are anticipating rate cuts due to this data that has been coming out, but moving forward, everyone's anticipating what is going to be happening for altcoins. Are we going to be deviating more? And spoiler alert, potentially yes, we could be going more deeper into it based off of the price action we're seeing with Bitcoin, Ethereum, and overall altcoins as well. But overall, if you're new to my channel, check out the rest of my content. Keep you guys updated on the day-to-day events, price action on Bitcoin, Ethereum, altcoins, how liquidity shifting, and practically everything you need to be aware of. In my last 4 to 5 videos, I've been talking about exactly the volatility that was going to be happening based off of exactly moving into August, and also the data that was coming out and the price action that we were seeing. But as a result, guys, a lot of people weren't anticipating this, weren't keeping up with this information, and now they're wondering what's going to be happening next. So that's exactly what we're going to be jumping into: the price action, the sentiment, the predictions, and everything you need to be aware of. So with all that being said, let's go and jump straight into it. So like how I said, massive liquidations across the market. Bitcoin was sitting at around 117,000 just yesterday, and now we're sitting at around 113,000. Ethereum dropped below that 3,500 region, which was really crazy to see, but from there it saw a little bit of a correction. Right now we're sitting at around 3,517, but everyone is anticipating more deviations based off of the imbalance and pretty much areas of liquidity that we're seeing. The total 3 chart also is seeing liquidations based off of the giant wick that we saw for the month of July, after seeing massive rip-ups with Ethereum. Altcoins are now feeling the pain based off of Ethereum outperforming, and also seeing liquidations for Ethereum. If we look into Bitcoin dominance, I was anticipating a correction and the move upwards, and this is exactly what we're seeing. I anticipate that this is actually going to keep on moving up, which I've been talking about in my last few videos. But like I said, if you guys are new to the channel, make sure you guys like, comment, and subscribe. But overall, right now we are seeing massive liquidations, not only in the past 24 hours, but still as everything is going on. It is currently right now 9:30 p.m. CST. So right now we are still seeing more liquidations based off of everything that is taking place. If we look at exactly what is causing this, guys, it's exactly the revisions with the jobless report, with the non-farm payrolls data. As a result, we've been seeing liquidations not only around Bitcoin falling below specific regions like that 115,000 zone, but also we've also seen exactly a lot of different perspectives based off of what is currently happening in the market. And this is also having a lot of talks about who's in charge. Trump is also talking about exactly firing the person that was in charge, the labor chief, and this is why we're having mixed sentiment in the markets and how everyone feels about investing in risk assets in general. But it's not looking too hot, and right now we can also see that 1.1 trillion dollars were wiped out from the US stock market today. So it's just not looking good, and it's mainly due to the mixed sentiment and uncertainty that is taking place. Right here, Unusual Wells compares it to pretty much the previous drops that we saw around COVID and how it compares. He says the market is deeply red after revisions to non-farm jobs, showing the largest drop since April of 2020 in COVID. So this is pretty much, guys, like a black swan event that is taking place, which is why you should not be liquidating your assets right now. You should pretty much be holding strong and dollar cost averaging. This is just showing that the US economy is not looking too strong, but more than likely, if we see rate cuts, we're going to slowly see corrections. And this is where, we're anticipating that. If we jump more into the data and exactly what is causing all of this, it's mainly the revisions based off of what we saw back in May and June, and now and moving into July and into August. This is insane. We must receive some massive downward job revisions, says the Kobesi letter. May's jobs report was revised down by 125,000 from 144,000 to 19,000. So this is where, guys, you need to understand exactly the deviations that we see with these specific points, and just how it has an effect. We, anticipate a specific amount, and then from there, if we see, lower amounts, it's just not looking too hot because we're expecting, more strength around these specific divisions. But more jumping into it, June's job report was revised down by 133,000 from 147,000 to 14,000. So you can pretty much see that, difference, guys, from, the 19,000 within 125 to 144, and then 14 between 133 to 147. That's 258,000 jobs that just vanished from the data in 2 months. What is happening here? So right now we have pretty much more data coming out. Everyone has mixed sentiment exactly if this is accurate, if this is actually jumping into what Trump is saying and how this is a part of the Biden administration. And a lot of people are giving their perspective on this, saying that he shouldn't have made this move. This is like a dictator move. But I honestly do not know what's going on, and honestly most of us do not know what's going on. That's why it's just better to keep up with it and see exactly how everyone is reacting. Now, if we jump into it, Benjamin Cohen talks about how more than likely we could be seeing rate cuts due to exactly the data that's coming out. So that's quite bullish, but right now we need to see exactly how everything plays out. He says downward revisions in labor market means Fed is more likely to cut in September. Only hurdle is the inflation data. If we get cool inflation data, then the Fed will certainly cut in September. If CPI comes in hot, Fed may still cut, but the bond market would then likely revolt, which if the bond market, guys, starts to pump, it doesn't look too good because it gets really complicated, but other countries buy bonds, and then from there, whenever it starts to pump up, they start doing really well, and it doesn't look good for us. And there's a lot of different mixed sentiments about this, guys. So overall, right now, guys, if we see this happen, we are going to see rate cuts more likely happen, but if it happens in a different sense, it might not be as bullish, but this is where we need to be keeping up with if that, inflation data, when it comes out with the Fed, if it aligns with our perspectives. Now, if we look into the perspectives from all the, bull run, holders, all the people that are saying that altcoin season is already going to happen, everyone's getting a little bit more, consolidated with their approach, calling out for altcoin season, mainly based off of the deviations we've been seeing. Merlin the trader shifted from saying that altcoin season is already going to happen by pretty much saying that the altcoin golden setup is loading and that we're seeing consolidation right now and everything is just loading up. So whenever we start to see the super bullish people also pull back, that's whenever you should start to tell yourself that yes, we could be seeing more deviations. Also, Dr. Profit talks about how right now this is a really great perspective because I think also you should really just be ignoring all the fuss and what everyone is saying. That's why I make these YouTube videos. But he says Bitcoin was able to hit 120,000 with no Fed policy change, only following the expanding into money supply, which we have been keeping up with on this channel, that is indeed rising day by day, fully ignoring the noise the market is giving right now, holding as I'm expecting way higher targets in the coming months. And so am I, guys. If you have altcoins, you should be expecting higher valuations in the next few months, but you have to have the patience and you have to be willing to hold whenever we see crazy deviations like what we're seeing right now. Now, overall, July was a massive month for ETH, says Crypto Mission. Now he says with a lot of upside, it's providing direction of the markets where we're going to go up significantly higher in the coming months. However, that doesn't mean that we don't have corrections. This is one of them, a good moment to step in. So this is where I tell you the dollar cost average, but there could be potentially more deviation. So if you are feeling cautious about investing, you don't have that much capital, by all means, wait to see exactly how the market's going to be opening up next week, which I'm going to let you guys know on Sunday. And then from there, we can start to have an understanding if we should be dollar cost averaging or, waiting for more information. But right now, this is why everyone is still calling for altcoin season. And this jumps into, talking about the momentum around altcoins. And right now, everything is, showing the transparency around people and just expressing that right now is the best time to just be dollar cost averaging and understanding what to focus on in the markets. I think everyone is still calling for altcoin season. I'm still calling for altcoin season, but we have to be willing to hold throughout these deviations. And if you're not willing to hold, you're not going to make it to the end of this. Now, massive liquidations across the market, which is why it's super important to be keeping up with all this data and information that's coming out. I have a big crypto portfolio, guys, not a super massive crypto portfolio, but a pretty decent sized portfolio where, you know, I'm holding a good amount of assets. And I'm seeing massive liquidations, but I'm already considering dollar cost averaging based off of the previous floors that I saw with these assets. I'm not worried. I know that in the coming months, my portfolio is going to look much better, but it just comes with having the commitment and holding in these assets and then keeping up with the updates and also everything that happens in the market. And on this channel, I do that. So swiping everything to the side, guys, right now, there's massive liquidations happening across the market, which is not looking too hot, not only for the US markets, but also for cryptocurrency in general. And right now, this is why there's a lot of uncertainty. People are thinking altcoin season is no longer going to be happening. And this is where you need to be able to lock in, keep up with the perspectives, the news events, and then from there, be able to understand how to position yourself. I am going to be dollar cost averaging. I'm honestly waiting to see more information around Ethereum and specific zones. From there, I'm going to be letting you guys know when I throw more money into the markets, but it's more letting us know exactly how Friday is going to be closing out, moving into Saturday and Sunday, and how the markets are feeling moving into Monday. And on this channel, I'm going to do that. So if you're new to my channel, check out the rest of my content and keep you guys updated on the day-to-day events, price action on Bitcoin, Ethereum, altcoins, how liquidity is shifting, and practically everything you need to be aware of. But other than that, guys, keep up with everything I'm showing you guys. Do not capitulate your bag, and hopefully I catch you guys in the next one. Peace.